So today we have my wife's Jeep. We have to replace the thermostat gasket. While I'm in there, I'm going to replace the thermostat. It's leaking down there. And then we're also replacing wheel bearings and ball joints on the front, because I don't know if you can see that, but tires are not too happy. And if you're looking at it from behind, they're definitely sitting cambered. And it's a solid axle, so it's not supposed to do that. Alright, so that's everything apart. You can see it's a little bit crusty in there and down there. And this is a little bit dirty, so I'm going to hit it with WD-40 and a Scotch-Brite pad, clean it up a little bit, and then we'll start reassembling it. Alright, she's clean enough. Just clean this out a little bit, Scotch-Brite and WD-40. Clean up the flanges a little bit on the knuckle. And then I'm just going to the Detroit axle stuff. It's cheap, but people have good luck with it. So that's what I'm slapping in. It's just a commuter car. It's not an off-roader. I'm gonna slap it in. All right, so we have the knuckle on. I got the ball joints pressed in. Got the Zerk fittings in there too. And then yes, I already greased them. I am worried about the axle hitting that lower one, but we'll be fine. We'll see what happens. I clean it off a little bit, hit the Scotch-Brite around the surface, and then yeah, sprayed it with WD-40. So we're gonna slide the axle in right now, and then we'll slide the wheel bearing in. I'll clean off the bolts, assemble this side, and then we'll head on to the other one. All right, this is everything assembled back together. This side all apart now. I already cleaned out the ball joint holes. And yeah, it's going to be time to put it back together. This one went much quicker because I know what tools actually to use. And that the universal ball joint sets, they're great, but they make a Dana 30 specific one, and it helps a ton. Like, you see this is not complete, it is not parallel with like where the ball joint tool sits and where it sits on the the axle, because if you look, it is not parallel there. So use that tool to get an even press down on it. It helps slide the ball joint in. And then like pressing out the ball joint, you have this one that goes on the around the stem of the ball joint. The recess portion right here sits inside the C of the ball joint tool, inside the little cup, and then it goes around just like that, and boom. And then you just press it right out, and then it follows it. And this portion is to press out the top ball joint up there. Then, yeah, you just have that one that slips over the top of the ball joint. On the top one, presses it out. I use this one on the bottom one to press it out. The stem goes through that hole. And yeah. So, start putting it back together, and I'll just keep updating you. So here's the ball joints installed. Put the Zerk fittings in, and then I'll attach the knuckle, and then we'll clean it up, put the wheel bearing in. Alright, so this is the passenger side all reassembled. Went together with really no issues and a lot quicker when I remembered what tools I was having to use for everything. Yeah, that's all done. Definitely figured out that these guys were not too happy. This one, which was a passenger side, was a little bit better, but this one is just loose. And then the uppers were okay. Yeah, the uppers were okay, but still not great. But now there's new stuff inside of there. And then I'll get working on the thermostat next. Also, if you can hear this, I'm currently draining the coolant right now a little bit, not going all the way, just a little bit till it's below the thermostat level. I tried hooking it up to this spare coolant bottle over here, but it didn't work so well, so now it's just kind of spilling out into there. So once it gets down low enough, then I'll pull the housing, throw the new thermostat, new gasket in there. So I have all of this removed. Here's the thermostat housing. Here's the thermostat housing right here. Here's the new gasket going in, the new thermostat. Cleaned up the flange a little bit. About to toss it all together. Use a little bit of RTV on it. We'll put it back in, top her off, and she shouldn't leak. It's all back in. Serpentine belt's on. Everything's bolted up. I cut this hose a little bit shorter because it was pretty clamped down on by this hose clamp right here. So cut off the end of it, fresh hose, it's good. Now I just need to fire it up and get it all bled. Alright, so it's all back together, bled it off. It's clean down there, but it's wet everywhere else because I overfilled it, got hot, and before the thermostat opened and sucked in a bunch, it overfilled and spilled everywhere. So yeah, the rest of it's a little wet, but that's okay. Alright, as you can see, the Jeep is out of the garage. Now the garage is a mess, so I'm going to clean that up. Then I'll pull the Ram back in here and start working on more projects. Thanks for watching.